my little party animals. Hiphiprenee here today with a brand new speed build for you, and today we are in Brindleton Bay and we are building a beautiful cozy winter cabin. Now I know right now it doesn't look very wintry, but you all saw the intro. So when this cabin is finished, I actually went in, moved a sim in, used the weather machine, and made it snow, and I thought it looked so magical and so perfect. I'm so excited with how this one turned out. My original plan for the day was I was going to put up another university build. I was going to do, one of the dorms and just kind of, play around with some more university things. But if you guys have been following my Twitter, then you know I got dumped the last 2 days with about 2 feet of snow. It's been absolutely ridiculous. Like, the amount of snow that we got from this first storm, usually in New England, the first storm is like, oh, look, it's a light dusting of snow. Nope, not this time. This time we got, I'm not even kidding, almost 2 feet of snow. It was absolutely ridiculous. So I have been cooped up inside of my house for the last 2 days because if there is no snow, or if there's snow, there's no school. And if there's no school, then I don't teach dance. We do follow the school district, so if school is canceled, dance is canceled. So the last 2 days on Monday and Tuesday, usually the only things that I do are go teach dance. And of course I couldn't do that because we didn't have dance class. So I sat down yesterday and I was like, all right, what do I want to build? I went into Brightchester and I was like, meh, I kind of want to do something snowy, something wintry, but not Christmassy. I've said this in my Thanksgiving build. I am not really a decorator for holidays, so doing a Christmas style build to me is just not very appealing. It's not something that I want to do. It's not really something that I want to watch. So I figured, I can make this a little bit more generic. I can make it something that everybody is interested in because, of course, not everybody celebrates Christmas. There are a ton of different holidays in December, so I don't really want to, kind of focus on one specific holiday when there are so many out there. So I figured doing a nice wintry cabin was something that everybody could enjoy, whether you get snow, whether you don't get snow. This is something that, you can look at and you can be like, oh yeah, that does look pretty cozy. And that's exactly what I was going for. So I hopped on yesterday and figured, let's head on to Pinterest. Let's see what kind of things I can come up with from Pinterest. So I looked up a few different, I looked up wintry cabin, I looked up snowy cabin, I looked up cabin in the mountains, just any version of cabin that you could possibly think of. I looked it up on Pinterest. And I found a few different ideas, and I decided to just kind of take all of those ideas and combine them together into one singular build. So the idea for, the basic shell of the cabin was from one inspiration piece. The windows were from another inspiration piece. The chimney was yet another inspiration piece. So I kind of just, took all of these different ideas and pieced them together in a way that I thought looked really cute. And I am so excited with how this came out. I did a ton of landscaping on this build. And normally when I do landscaping, I do like to go around and add a lot of color and, brightness and fun things. I didn't really want to do that here because this house is just off of the beach. So when you're coming just off of the beach, chances of you having really good soil for plants is meh. You're probably not going to have the best soil for plants if you're directly next to sand. So I wanted to keep it nice and green. I wanted it to look very Brindleton Bay. So I tried to copy a lot of the ideas that I was seeing from the world around this particular lot. So I used a lot of those low-lying yellow flowers. I used a lot of different ferns and, I added a little bit of purple in here and there. But it's all very basic. It's all very, kind of grassy almost. And I went with that more so because I knew that I was going to be putting this into a winter kind of theme. So I knew I was going to have snow on the ground. And when you do go into winter in The Sims, obviously plants are generally not alive in the winter. they hibernate or whatever it is that plants do. I don't know. I'm not a freaking gardener, so I have no idea how plants work. But, you know, the most you're going to see is maybe a little bit of green. It's going to be a lot of brown. So I didn't want to, you know, spend all of this time trying to pick out the perfect plant colors and make it look really nice and vibrant. I definitely wanted it to be, you know, grassy and have a lot of greenery around. So that is what I went with here. The grass, I can't even think of what it's called, but it's like this big section of grass, and I want to say it's either from Jungle Adventures or from Island Living. I'm pretty sure it's Island Living. I love this piece. I love this piece of landscaping. I think it worked really, really well in this build. You see me using it here. I used it in every single little section that I put plants. I used this particular kind of grass piece and then just stuck in a lot of different ferns and things like that. And as you guys saw at the little intro of the video, I think it looks beautiful out in the snow. I think it looks absolutely perfect. It's just the right amount of landscaping for this, you know, particular style of build, if you will. So then going into the house here, I kept it very, very simple. I figured this was not going to be the type of place where somebody would live full time. Now, of course, you can download this and move your sim in here and have them live here. That's why I built it. But my idea behind this is more of a winter retreat. So, you know, maybe if you have a little family or you and your partner just want to kind of get away for a weekend, this is the perfect place to go and spend a nice wintry, snowed in kind of weekend. It's really kind of cute and cozy and small and, you know, very intimate feeling. So that's the idea that I was going for here. And I tried to make it, again, as cozy as possible. So when you think cozy, I feel like the first thing that a lot of people think of is a fireplace. So going through our fireplaces, first off, we don't have enough fireplaces. And people are going to laugh when I say this because I complain about fireplaces in The Sims all the time. I am not a huge fan of fireplaces in The Sims, but I think it's because we don't have enough options and we don't have enough realistic options. This particular fireplace that I used is really kind of the only like rustic, like just, you know, kind of old looking stone fireplace. Everything else is very stylized. It's either, you know, like really, really fancy, like goth house style, or, you know, it's very suburban-y and, you know, nice and clean and fresh looking. And I wanted something that looks like it was old. So that is why I went with this fireplace, and then I did all of those shelves around the fireplace to just kind of, again, make it a little bit more cozy, make it feel really lived in, and, you know, maybe somebody does live here during the summer, but they rent it out in the winter. Whatever ideas you can come up with, you know, I have no problem with people downloading my builds and coming up with their own cutesy little stories for them. I did have a little bit of a time trying to figure out a layout in here. There is, of course, no dining space in here because there's no room for it. I probably could have found a spot for it, but I don't know. It felt, again, a little bit more cozy, a little bit more intimate for them to have to eat on the couch. Like, you know, it's just, I don't feel like you go away on vacation so you can cook. You generally go away on vacation and you eat out a lot, or, you know, you have, you know, just very basic kind of foodstuffs. It's not like you're, you know, making all these crazy, huge, big meals every time you're out on vacation or anything like that. So the kitchen and the dining room, I don't know, they were kind of a little bit of an afterthought to me in this build. And I think it works fine. Obviously, there is plenty of space in here for them to cook if that's something that you need them to do. So again, if you move your sim in here, they are, of course, going to have everything that they need to be able to live in this home. And again, I think it turned out really, really, really cute. And it made me feel a little bit better about all of the snow that we have gotten. Now, I don't know if I've said anything about this before on this particular channel. I know I mentioned it on my old channel, but despite the fact that I grew up in New England and I still live in New England, I can't stand snow. I hate the snow. I hate the winter. I hate the cold. It's not for me, guys. It's really not. I run really cold like all of the time. Like, I'm always cold. So having, 2 feet of snow dumped on me is not my idea of a fun day. I just if it's under 68 degrees, I don't function well as a human being. So I don't know. I guess this build made me feel a little bit better about the amount of snow that was on the ground. It was a nice little kind of release after I went out and shoveled with Rob. Our snowblower actually broke on Monday. So Rob went out and very nicely shoveled on Monday, and then we woke up on Tuesday, and Tuesday morning or overnight, Monday into Tuesday, was when we got the bulk of the snow. And Rob had to get to work. I didn't really have to do anything, so we had to go outside and dig him out so he could end up getting to work. Thankfully, we got about halfway through and our neighbor saw us and was like, "Hey, do you want to borrow my snowblower?" And we were like, "Dear Lord, please, yes, please let us borrow your snowblower." So our neighbor was kind enough to let us use her snowblower. So that made it go by a little bit faster, but we were out there shoveling and snowblowing for about an hour or two. And I am already sick of it. I know that we are going to get dumped with snow this year, like we do every single year, but this is not a good first snow. Usually in New England, first snow is oh, okay, yeah, there's a nice light dusting of snow. No, not this. No, we got dumped with snow. We were snowed in. It was absolutely ridiculous. And we've gotten to play our favorite game, which is sitting in our living room waiting to hear a crash outside the window and, see who's crashing into what. Generally, it's a telephone pole. Sometimes it's our fence. Sometimes it's another car. But despite everybody growing up and living in New England their entire lives, for some reason, nobody knows how to drive in the snow. So it's been an interesting few days. And I don't know, I think that this cabin made me feel just a little bit better about the fact that I hate snow and the fact that I have been stuck dealing with snow for the past few days. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this build. If you guys don't get snow, I really hope you enjoyed this build because this is probably as close as you're gonna get for a while. If you do get snow, I hope that you enjoyed this and you feel like, it speaks to you and it speaks to the, winter spirit, if you will. So if you did enjoy this build, please give it a thumbs up down below. I'd really appreciate it. If you're new here or you're not new here and you're not subscribed yet, make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit that little bell so you get notifications every single time I post a new video. And don't forget that tomorrow is Thursday, which is a streaming day for me. So I will be streaming on Twitch at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I will be streaming on Friday at the same time. Thank you guys so much for joining me today, and I'll see you next time. Bye!